I'm Mrs. Cooper, coming to you from my home in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. I am making this video to help guide you through how I would practice Kreutzer Etude number 30 in preparation for your OkMEA audition in the fall. So let's tackle this etude by first breaking it down into 4 sections. I would make the first section measures 1 through 18. The second section measures 19 through 39. The third section measures 40 through 55, and the last section is measures 56 through the end. Now you want to practice one section over and over again until you're really comfortable with it before moving on to the next section. The first step when working through any section would be to play it very slowly. And then the next step would be to create double stops wherever you can, called blocking, to help you find the hand shape and to help you out with some intonation. So the first measure, let's see what we could block. Could block that. And the next thing I would do would be to practice each of the shifts in the etude a bunch of times. So already off the bat, we have a shift in the first measure from first position to third position. I would probably practice it like this. Maybe I would walk up to it and walk down to it. All right, and you may have noticed that above many of the notes in this piece, there's a finger number marking and then a line. What that means is that you're going to hold down that finger number until the line ends. So in the first measure, we're going to be holding down our first finger on the note D in third position for pretty much like half the measure. There are many good reasons for holding down our fingers, especially when we're playing fast and when we're wanting to keep our hands in the shape of a chord, which happens a lot in this etude. Another thing that happens a lot in this etude are extended fourth fingers. My goodness, we have them measure 1, measure 3, measure 7, measure 10, measure 19, measure 21, and etc., etc. One way to practice this extended hand shape is by creating new finger patterns with those notes, such as 1, 3, 1, 4, or 1, 4, 3, 1, or 1, 4, 1, 3, or 4, 1, 3, 1. We can also practice our fast 16th notes in the bow arms on all of these patterns, like this. Maybe playing 4 16th notes for each of those, or doubles. And so forth. You've probably learned this by now, but the higher up you go on the fingerboard, the smaller the distances between notes. Think of a guitar with frets. Those frets are pretty wide back by the pegs, and then they get closer together when you edge of the fingerboard. That's how our violin works too. So keep this in mind when we're moving around the instrument, that our octaves, third, sixth, extended fourth fingers are going to feel different depending on which position we're in. You can have an example of this between measures 13 and 14. In measure 13, we have a fingered octave A flat, and then in measure 14, we have a fingered octave G's. The G's are going to feel like we have to reach more, like they're farther apart, and that's because we're back in second position and not up in third position like we are for those fingered octave A flats. Since you're going to be holding a lot of double stops in this etude, your left hand may start to feel tight or get tired. That's normal. Just give it a rest. Do some open string practice while you're giving your left hand a break. And work on some of these tricky slurs and hooks, like in measures 11. There are also some good tricky string crossings, measure 45 to 47. want to make sure that we're really lifting our right arm to get all the way up to the G string. And then we're kind of adding some weight with our right index finger to crescendo down to the G string, to grab that thicker string. To make these little hooks, we're going to have to create a little bite with our bow. Kind of like the feel that you would have at the start of a martelé stroke. After practicing each of the 4 sections slowly with double stops, repeating shifts, the next thing I would do is practice with a quick long rhythm so that we're prepping our bow arm for all those fast string crossings while holding some notes longer to hear if they're in tune. Keep a loose right hand so that your hand and wrist is very springy for these string crossings. Let's practice what I'm talking about in the second section. So measures 19, quick long, quick long. Do that all the way through each section. Now I'm going to record some slow playthroughs, and I hope that you'll play along with me. And you have many months to prepare this etude, so take your time gradually working up the tempo until it's at our audition speed of a quarter note equals 88. All right, have fun. Happy practicing.